Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for another SmackDown Event Center Wrestling Report. And now, here is the man that will bring you the Wrestling Report, the host of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977, Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977, episode 1,750 bucks. That's 150 bucks. Episode 1,750. You get the drill, you know. Sorry for starting so late. I had to get my mind right, make sure my voice is up to par. We're going to get going because we've got a lot to do and a lot of things to cover here. Last night on SmackDown, and then next episode we'll deal with AEW Rampage. Tonight we got Collision and Battle of the Belts. And that's a big, huge to do. And also, we got the Card Sharks I need to do. So, a lot to get to here. So, so let's get right to it. SmackDown last night. Michael Cole is on special assignment. Basically, he's on a 10-day vacation with Mexico with his family. So, Wade Barrett will be color commentating with along Corey Graves. The old band is back together. Bloodline kicks off SmackDown, as you know. Also, before that, the Crown Jewel belt was coming in, the men's Crown Jewel belt. And Solo Sikoa and the gang addresses Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. And then mention Jey Uso. He ends up showing up and says, "Little brother, this is not how you want to go about this." You know? And basically Solo Sikoa's like, "Don't call me little brother," you know, and all that 9 yards. And so the triple threat number one, there's two triple threat number one contenders tag matches on qualifiers. Street Profits versus DIY versus Pretty Deadly, and the matchup that happened, DIY ended up winning the matchup. And so there'll be one half of the number one contenders match for the tag team championship next week. Who will be the other qualifier? Well, we'll find out later on. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso arrive, and Jey Uso sees them, and then smiles at Jimmy, but kind of looks disdainfully at Roman Reigns. But Roman Reigns says that they're proud of him, the entire Bloodline, and he goes, "No yeet." It seems like a little bit bitterness towards Jey and Roman. Hopefully they can get it over with. And Nia Jax got a phone call from Tiffany Stratton. Stratton had the sniffles and had a cold, couldn't compete. But Nick Aldis goes, "The match is still on, but you're going to need a partner. Who can I..." And then Nia Jax is like, "Who?" And Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell interrupt Jax and all this, and Candice LeRae goes, "Let me volunteer from one champion to another," because Candice LeRae has been crowned the first ever women's speed champion. And then Nia Jax goes, "You better make good on your part, or I'm going to destroy you, and it will take less than 3 minutes to do so." So Aldis says it's booked. So Lash Legend, it seems like Lash Legend Jakara Jackson making the SmackDown rounds as of late, and it seems like to me they like Lash Legend Jakara Jackson won in on a women's tag team title match. Still, they won in on the matchup, and Lash Legend took on Piper Niven, and Chelsea Green tried to get involved, and while Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair watching from the seats, and Jakara Jackson shoves Chelsea Green's side. Lash Legend body slammed Piper Niven to pick up the victory, and they were, Bianca Belair says, and they were pretty impressed. She was pretty impressed with them. So that's the deal. I think who knows the deal here. So we'll see what happens. As you know, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend this coming Tuesday on NXT will be facing will be facing Damage Control, Io Sky and Kairi Sane. So this coming Tuesday. Reigns Uso were talking about their situation, and he says he just needs Jey Uso, but he plans on acknowledging Solo. I don't know if that's the last thing to do. Cody Rhodes addresses the Columbia crowd, talks about the Crown Jewel Championship belt, and and decided to invite Gunther next week for a face-off before Crown Jewel. So, so there's that. So Kevin Owens was in his car addressing his situation with the WWE, and his contract was expiring, but he got a problem with Randy Orton, and then Randy Orton talked about the situation with Nick Aldis. Also, I can't do it, and then it doesn't mean I won't, because I can't. And Randy Orton understands situations. I know who to talk to. Now, the second number one contenders triple threat match, tag team matchup. As you know, A-Town Down Under. That will be Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. Los Garza, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. And the debuting. They were officially signed on SmackDown. Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, and a former guest of Rant. In fact, he was the first guest of the Rant and Rave podcast this year. Earlier this year, back in January, 10 months ago, he was our first official guest of the Rant and Rave podcast. He was then the TNA World's Heavyweight Champion at the time, Alex Shelley. It was an honor having him on board. Now, I can say it's more of an honor to have spoken with the newest SmackDown superstar. So, with that being said, and who will be facing, who will be facing the Motor City Machine Guns, and who will be facing DIY to make up the other half of the number one contenders match for the tag team titles, and the Motor City Machine Guns end up winning the matchup. And after on SmackDown Lowdown, they said DIY is the reason why they came to the WWE. So, the matchup that everybody wants to see, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, number one contenders match for the tag team titles. I would not be surprised if the Bloodline gets involved, trying to ruin the match, and Nick Aldis says, I'm making it a triple threat. I kind of have a hunch that might happen, and the Bloodline is going to get themselves in the crosshairs of trouble. Meanwhile, Byron Saxton interviewed Andrade and Carmelo Hayes about their 7th matchup coming up next week. And both men started to argue. They started to brawl. Bayley and Naomi took on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae in women's tag. And Candice LeRae picked up the victory over the former women's champion, Bayley, in an upset victory over Bayley and Naomi, 2 former women's champions, I might add. Byron Saxton was interviewing Nick Aldis. He said, you know what, this matchup is getting too crazy. This feud between Andrade and Carmelo Hayes is getting too crazy. He decided to add a special guest referee, and LA Knight interrupts things and said, hey, I beat them both. They're not worthy, but hey, I'm going to call them right down the middle. So we'll see what happens. Roman Reigns addresses the Columbia crowd. He says, possibly for the final time, acknowledge me. Fans start cheering. So Sikoa confronts Reigns. And he says, you better acknowledge me, or else what? And then all of a sudden, Sikoa calls out the rest of the Bloodline. They jump Jey Uso. Roman Reigns tried to fight off the rest of the Bloodline, but the Bloodline in the end destroyed Roman Reigns and still stand tall. So that's about it, folks. That's all the time we have on the show. Episode 1750. Again, coming up next will be the AEW Rampage Event Center, and then we'll do some Card Sharks. All right. See you guys later. Guys, have a wonderful day. Till the next episode, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, doing for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.